fan there. Let me test it. Let me see how much the fan is affecting it.
Here's how to auto
The fan not so bad, man. The fan not so bad. Fan not so bad at all, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the platform. It's your brother Bolo VNR. This is the call-in show. Alright? The number is in the description. It's also in the title of the video. Obviously, there's a lot going on here in Jamaica. One of the most recent situations that has caused emotional civil unrest is it's a lot of things. It really is a lot of things that we can touch on. The raping of the 9-year-old and then the other 2 young ladies that was raped by repeat offenders that was recently coming out of prison. The video of the man stepping in the lady's head with a gun in his hand, the nurse, just body slamming her several times on the ground. And I got a call from a concerned citizen that lives in the area of that man. And it is alleged that, you know, their entire family has this thing about them. It is alleged. I don't know what true it is. I got a call. The individual that called me was very passionate. Extremely passionate about the situation. And, you know, wanted to have their voices be heard by me, not necessarily on here, but I will try. You know, basically what the individual was saying is that he has done this to other people, not just females. Oh, and one key thing that the person alleged is that he knows martial arts. And I think if that is true, and if that can be proven, the police force should keep that in mind, and the judge should keep that in mind when they have this in court. Because for somebody to have the skills in martial arts and be the aggressor, martial arts is supposed to teach you discipline, you know. And a boxer that has lethal hands, they will be punished more severely in the court of law when they use those lethal hands, when it's not in defense of themselves, when it's to aggress somebody. So, if it is true and it can be proven that this man, ladies and gentlemen, knows martial arts, I'm telling you, when you look at how he body slammed that lady, I was like, what am I looking at? Another lady came on, I believe it was Nationwide. Listen to this. Let me find that clip there. Let me find that clip. Big up ABI News TV. Let me find that clip. I don't think I have that clip. You know. But I don't have that clip. But even my mother is, trust me, the females are not taking this well at all, and I don't blame them. And I would love to see the females them stand in solidarity with each other. The nurses are going to have a get together. I would love to see politicians standing with those women and not just verbalizing. You understand? I would love to see the police force standing in solidarity with those women. And Jonas, we haven't heard from you, sir, about this one. Still nothing. No condemnation, just nothing. It's just nothing. We haven't heard nothing from Andrew Honest on this particular one, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very, very interesting. Listen to this.
Nurse who was on her way to her duty.
I tried to go right, he swerved right. I tried to go left, he swerved left. That went on for about 3 different attempts to go around him. Eventually, I went around him on the other side of the road to get away from him. I drove, and when I got to Stella Maris, I realized it was still behind me. I called 119 at the time. 119 was on the phone with me, and I got into Grant's Pen where we had a red light. The man out his vehicle with a gun in his hand and a hot coffee cup. And he used that hot coffee mug and beat down my window. The man beat that window down. The police was still on the phone, on the Bluetooth, so he could hear what was going on. The recount I'm giving you sounds eerily similar.
Unfortunately, we have not heard anything from the Prime Minister, who happens to be Andrew Holness.
Yeah, Andrew. Why are we not hearing anything from Andrew? But Patricia, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland had this to say.
The following is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
Today, our country is in a state of outrage and disbelief because we all witnessed the beating of a nurse, a female nurse, by a Jamaican man, kicking her in her head because they had a car accident, a fender bender. And this is happening on World Family Day, when we should be able to celebrate family as a foundation of our society. But this is not to be so for Jamaica, because we have developed a brutal pattern of violence against women and children, and it demands an uncompromising response. We cannot celebrate family in a society where our women and children do not feel safe. And all of this comes on the backdrop of the current trial of Constable Noel Maitland for the alleged murder of Donnelly Donaldson, which continues to expose the deep fractures in how we value women's lives. And only a week ago, the nation was again in a state of disbelief as we struggled to process the brutal rape and murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon by a recently released sex offender. A horrifying consequence of a broken system for monitoring and rehabilitation.
Like up the live, guys. Like up the live.
And now the country is searching for a missing female University of Technology student. These are not isolated incidents. They are symptoms of a deep societal crisis where violence is normalized.
Yep.
And while we commend our police for their swift arrest in the road rage incident and their response in the wake of Farragon's murder, law enforcement alone cannot manage this situation.
Talk about it.
We must go beyond outrage and hashtag. We must transform our mindsets. Too many men still equate masculinity with domination and violence. That mindset must die for our daughters to live.
No, this part that you said is very interesting. This part right here.
masculinity with domination and violence. That might judge that hashtag. We must transform our mindsets. Too many men still equate masculinity.
Oh, too many men still equate masculinity
with domination and violence. That mindset.
Domination and violence. I really wanted to get the gist of what you were saying. So so equate means to consider one thing to be the same as or equivalent to the other. So what she's saying is that masculinity does not equate to domination and violence. The violence part. See where you're going with that.
Still equate masculinity with domination and violence. That mindset must die.
Domination. Domination doesn't mean oppression. Domination does not mean beating down of the other person. Maybe, you know what? Let me just, because I don't want an attack on masculinity now. I'm just not with it. I'm not with the attack on masculinity at all. Masculinity has died. What we're seeing is emotional young men that don't have a father in the home, so they're not balanced. This is a whole deeper conversation. So you see, these single parent homes that primarily has moms alone in there, most of them breed up young men like this that are emotionally imbalanced because they don't. What's up, Wilbert Cameron? Because they don't have that masculine force in the home where the discipline is concerned, where they can balance their emotion and these things. It means to exercise power or influence over someone or something, or the state of being so controlled. So exercise power or influence over someone or something. So exercise power over someone or something. Well, hey, we see that on both spectrums. In some countries, you know, the women exercise their dominance in other ways. I don't think dominance is synonymous to being masculine. I don't think that's accurate. Neither in the animal kingdom or amongst women and men. You know, there's women that are dominant in certain areas. Dominant doesn't always mean a bad thing. You know what I mean? So I didn't like the violence part. No, I'm not with the violence part at all. But the domination part, I'm kind of 50-50 where that is concerned. I just didn't like the reference to masculinity. It's almost like masculinity is to be blamed for these individuals that are beating, are abusing women. No. Abuse come in many forms. Women abuse men, men abuse women. You understand? Some abuse is more subtle and it affects the brain more. And that's one of the things that the women are very good at with the abuse of men, the brain. And this, like I said, this is a deeper conversation. But dealing with just physical abuse, there's some women that are physically abusing men in their household. Hey, trust me, y'all just don't hear nobody reporting that because that is embarrassing for a man to do. But what I'm saying is, in terms of this specific situation, I don't want this to become something that is being used to a broad brush type of vibe. There's a deeper problem with these individuals, these specific individuals that are raping these young women. You understand what I'm saying? And until we go to the root cause of the problem, we cannot fix the problem. You understand? And like I said, growing up, there's studies out there that show growing up in a household that has both a father and a mother in there really helps to have a more wholesome individual, man or woman. You understand? And there's this movement in the world of gender against gender, and even black against white. Like, you know, they say Black Lives Matter, but we need to come to the point where all lives matter. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. We need human beings to operate like human beings and respect life. It doesn't matter if it's a female, it doesn't matter if it's a male. All lives matter. Children, elders. That's where we need to be. But there's this, I'm telling you, there's this undertone in our society, in this Western world, where it's the females against the males. And even on government levels, and I'm not calling out Miss Duncan. I'm certainly not calling her out. But that specific part of what she said, I was like, my spirit was like, So I had to listen a few times. So when she said equate dominance and violence, I was like, okay, the violence part I do understand, but dominance, Usain Bolt is dominant in his field of athletics when he was running. The young lady, what they call hot foot, she was dominant in her field. So dominance is not always something that is negative. The fact of the matter is that masculine was equated also to men who would open the door for a female when she was going in a car. You know, he would take off his shirt, put over her head so she can shelter from the rain. That's masculinity. So I really don't want an attack on masculinity. Please, let us kill that. All right? Let us kill that. We need more masculine men. I would contend that that man that stepping that lady has zero masculinity. Because that was not him defending himself against. I've seen women beat up men in Jamaica. I've seen 2 women beat up a man in Jamaica on video. Beat him. Mash him up in his head. Brrr. You understand? Of course, you know. The society doesn't really. Sorry for man. It is what it is. And you see, this is where I don't want it to go. But we have to be fair. Yeah, I watched a video of 2 women mashing up a brother, you know. I'm say mashing him up, you know. And it seemed like it was some domestic affair, like, you know, you sleep with this girl, you sleep with me. And the sister and the 2 sisters, them beat up the man, you know. Who is this person? Oh my God. Did I not have my video on subscriber only? Somebody, yo, these people are really a-holes, you know. And his name is a-hole. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of this.
Law enforcement alone cannot manage this situation. We must go beyond outrage and hashtag. We must transform our mindsets. Too many men still equate masculinity with domination and violence. That mindset must die for our daughters to live. I'm urging all of us to raise our voices together, not just in mourning, not just in outrage, but in unrelenting advocacy. We need a Jamaica where speaking up for women and children is not a risk, but a responsibility. Where silence is not the price of survival. And where every girl grows up knowing that her body is hers alone. And where men and women choose to live together in harmony. With respect, love, and where we choose to value each other. If we say we believe in family, then we must believe justice, safety, and dignity for every woman and every child. We must strive for respect between our men and women. I am calling for this in the wake of the harrowing statistics released by Superintendent of Sissoko, revealing that more than 3,000 sexual offenses were reported against over 2,100 children between January 2023 and May 2025. And of the 333 cases already reported this year, rape, grievous sexual assault, or sexual intercourse with a child under 16 accounted for 76% of the cases. This is not just a national crisis. This is a national disgrace. Behind every number is a name. A child robbed of their safety. A woman robbed of her dignity. A family left. We cannot cause social transformation. We cannot have the transformed Jamaica unless we address this. Time comes.
And visit our website at pnp.org.jm or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
You see, one of the things that we have to live with, is that people have a right to choose. It's one of the things you have to contend with. I would love to hear from you guys. The lines are open, and they will hear you very clearly. I'm using the little box. So you call on WhatsApp only. The number is 1-876-451-6535. Alright, and you can call and give me your views. It doesn't have to be about this topic. But like I said, there's a lot going on. I'm saddened that, there's a lot of people that are afraid to let their voices be heard about a lot of the things that are going on in Jamaica. Somebody called me and tell me something, and I can't remember the full details of what they said, but may I tell you, the level of corruption that is happening in this government. Remember I said they say nothing no secret in Jamaica, So if government officials are involved in skullduggery in certain areas, there are people out there that are witnessing the skullduggery. And, the criminal their mouth enough for them. Their mouth not sober because them love drink. And the people around them, they hear things. You always hear, hey, how you doing, Dorothy? You always hear, Mr. Wayne Lonesome talk about the eagle are flying. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that story is nasty. The person did not want, I was referring the person to somebody else that is of more. We can handle these types of stories that can do more deeper investigation. Them say them not even want, they want me to relay the message. Me say, me? No, sir, that I'm going to reach you some other way. I don't even remember the details, the name them we call and so. I don't even remember. My brain lock off that. Me say, if you are afraid to go on a record to call somebody, we can investigate the thing. What you want me to do? What you want me to do? I look about it, don't make me size fool. I'm just a humble, law-abiding citizen of this country, concerned citizen of this country. Yeah? So, me I left that one day alone. So the involvement of the politicians in the ghetto, nothing has changed. That's all I will say about that. Not a god thing has changed. They are still deeply involved in garrison politics. And the people in the garrison are speaking, but they are afraid to come out. So, you see, when Pastor Peter Chambers and Jeffrey Shuttleworth and Mark Stewart come out with prophetic words and prophetic utterances, because the Most High is revealing the secrets of heart, don't be surprised. Oh, as a matter of fact, guys, I am lining up. That's our next thing. I am lining up a series that will be exclusively played on Bolo VNR and Bolo TBV, especially throwback videos. I'm lining up a series of throwback videos. Let me see how much of them I download so far. What is the number here? Details. 23. So you see this series? I'm going to be dropping a video a day. Alright? I'm going to be dropping a video a day. So I want you guys to subscribe to Bolo TBV and Bolo. As a matter of fact, let me drop the link to them in the chat. Give me a second. In the meantime, I'm going to play this.
They started off with Right Mango. Here it is.
They're Jamaicans. I feel like talk today. I'm in a chatty mood, a very chatty mood. I remember 5 to 7 years ago warning Jamaicans that locking up people indefinitely under a state of emergency, violating the human rights of the ordinary Jamaicans, is a violation of the Constitution. And I remember how much I want to come for me. This was even before TikTok was a thing. How much I want to come for me. How much I want to tell me, say, me want the murder rate to stay high. Me want the killer them to roam free. I showed you the stats pointing out that most of the people being caught up in this SOE thing were not criminal, innocent people. And most of the criminals still did roam free because the same politician them tip them off and make them come out of the area before the SOE locked down the place. Now look at this. The government has lost yet another constitutional court case.
Go figure.
This makes 8 the number of constitutional court cases that the government has lost in 9 years.
Dang.
They've lost other cases, but in terms of constitutional court, this is the 8th case.
Embarrassing.
And these are the people that want to now go and change our constitution. And them can't even win a case in court. Tell me how that makes sense.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for somebody to tell me how it makes sense. These people won't stop until them turn this country into a dictatorship. And people might think that I have a lot of opinions that are unpopular, but me see things before them happen.
Yep.
And me could have predicted this 7 years ago, so we would be here today. Where the SOE, them, you still have to give up on them because them don't work. And don't for 1 minute think that this man, this commissioner, who has obviously given the police some order to violate the constitution of ordinary Jamaicans, which is what they're doing, is going to get a free pass either. Because if they're supposed to be taken to court, they are going to be found to violate the constitution of a whole heap of people. I saw a video recently with XXX talking about how a policeman who stopped him was a political activist.
Talk about it.
Literally stop him because him disagree with what he had to say, and me myself having experienced it, make sure I take with myself, because the police force is obviously not a political organization. And me no want to try lock me up because of politics, because I try it already, and who knows, we try it again.
My God.
The bottom line is the government and its agents have normalized violating the Constitution or the Jamaican people. And what's worse, most of you have accepted this violation because it's not happening to you personally.
Exactly.
So you're okay with it.
Exactly.
So when police, for instance, kill a man and claim say it's a shootout, oh yes, it's a criminal and they deserve it.
Right.
How you know it was a criminal? Just because they said that? I have personally seen the police try to plant a gun on somebody and claim.
I've been saying this. How you know say it's a criminal? The people them just tell you things, I wanna just believe, I wanna just run with it. I wanna claim to say the PMP I run with the government when the whole I wanna labor right or some run with it people. Wanna die hearted one them may attack. Not the one them may use them nagging and use them sense. Cause you have some sensible labor right. Wanna just run with it from they say that the people are criminals. You guys believe that they're criminals. It is amazing. When did we come to the point where politicians stop their lie? Isn't that like a requisite, like a DNA of politicians to lie to people? Isn't it the DNA of politicians to lie to people? Look what the guy did on behalf of USA to Ibrahim Choi about gold reserves. He's using gold reserve to protect himself. And he didn't mention that there was no gold reserves before Ibrahim Choi. That is the real story. That is the real story. Come on, man. Y'all better wake up. They lie to us on television every single day. Every day.
Claim is a criminal when the person wasn't a criminal. Serve it. How you know it was a criminal? Just because they said that? I have personally seen the police try to plant a gun on somebody and claim is a criminal when the person wasn't a criminal and had to release. And listen, I've seen a lot of stuff. We never go so. So not only you're going to trick me. And I don't believe for one moment that this sudden control of the crime rate has anything to do with the police. Probably a little bit. But it's the politician them.
No, people, I just dropped the link 3 times to, when it say please subscribe, that is Bolo TBV. Click that link and please subscribe, alright? I dropped it like 7 messages ago. Where you see Bolo VNR and Bolo VNR clips. Yeah. Where you see that yellow highlighted in the chat. Alright, yeah man. Go ahead and please subscribe. Right after in Dorothy said commissioner is a, I won't say that, but Dorothy Brown. I dropped it 3 times after she spoke right there. Hi Daniel. How you doing? Blessed Sunday to you. Oh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Yes, man. Father God have to take them down, yes. Father God have to take them down. Alright, so I want to subscribe to Bolo VNR as well. Like I said, I have a series coming that is going to be exclusive to that platform, those platforms. Alright, and that after those 23 videos, I will be coming with another series after that. And I don't want you guys to miss any of those series. So make sure you guys subscribe, alright? Alright, so let me just copy. Paste this couple times, about 3 times or so. Yes, right there. So I'm live on both of my platforms right now. Bolo VNR Clips and Bolo VNR 2.0. And I want you to subscribe to my other 2 platforms. Yes? Wonderful. Alright. Let's continue with Right Mango. Miss Right Mango.
Police control was a criminal just because they said that. I have personally seen the police try to plant a gun on somebody and claim as a criminal when the person wasn't a criminal and had to release. And listen, I've seen a lot of stuff. Whenever I go so. So not only you're going to trick me. And I don't believe for one moment that this sudden control of the crime rate has anything to do with the police. Probably a little bit. But it's the politician them. It's the politicians. The people who are creating mayhem, taking order from the politicians. Nobody can tell me nothing.
Hey.
It's Jamaica at name.
Remember good.
But at the end of the day, the SOEs did not work. They did not work. Now what's happening is that you're rounding up and killing all of these dons who served the politicians so well for all these years. And anybody who the police have a grudge against them get caught up in the middle.
Hey,
because
Vanessa.
right now it's like them have a free reign to do what they want. And now I go sit say it's problematic until it reach a point where something seriously happen.
Yeah,
and
man.
then when it reached that point, they know the point of no return, on go and say shit. Say we shoulda do that, woulda, coulda. When them start mass murder people. And it is heading there. Though for a minute things say not head there because too many people support the foolishness. Something as simple as
remember when Marlon Mother who said, boy, if a war should break out, the people would have to read, you know. When have to use the intuition, make God guide, you know. Think. It's not illegal yet. Think. Big up Eddie Griffin.
Body camera. While they conduct the business of the country, they no want to do. Why? Because they don't want to be held accountable. Anyway, let me not digress any further. The point I'm trying to make is that this government and its agents continue to violate the Constitution. This is the government and the police and the army and the entire judicial system that allowed innocent people to be locked away, including the Governor General. He should also be held accountable.
Yes.
Because he signed off on this.
Yes.
Like a puppet.
Yes.
So what? No.
Talk
all
about
of those
sister.
people who locked away for how long? Because it's not just the people them who win the cases, you know, where get little money. You have thousands of other Jamaicans who were violated. I just said it, I go. Who is going to hold this government accountable when they continue to violate the Constitution of Jamaica?
My
the
God.
Government and its agents, the agents of the state.
Yep.
When you're going down a slippery slope.
Very.
That's all me have to say. If you
Very.
don't want to notice it, if you don't want to see it, and you don't want to say, oh, they're killing the criminals, then soon call you a criminal and come for you.
That is
So,
it.
Argument done. Goodbye.
Hey, me tell you, say you see Right Mango, man. Big up Right Mango, man. I've been trying to say this to y'all. I said it on Carlos. All they have to do is, you guys are accepting the police unaliving the Jamaican people the way they are in the state that, oh, they are criminals, so you should just wipe them out. And because what do you call it? Because what do you call it again, man? The prisons are full and court cases are backed up. Because we have a failed system, let's just wipe out the criminals then. Yeah, man. Bring them in out. Yeah, man. Just wipe them out. All they have to do. We the flaggers them that speak out. Oh, yeah, man. I'm a criminal, man. I'm a criminal. Send police away. Get creative and plan things on us. These are possibilities. And you, the Jamaican people, don't understand that a violation of my right to speech, freedom of speech, I'm not threatening anybody. Hold on, somebody are calling. I general that are calling them, I've go. Hold on there. I thought that my computer was hooked up. May I call you now, my general? Hold on there, give me a second. I thought that this computer was hooked up to my WhatsApp on here, but I have to, guys, give me a second there. Pan Bolo VNR 2.0. Guys, give me a second. Let me just link my device. Let me just link my device, yeah. My God. I come there. What? I don't think I need to. Oh, shit. Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I thought it was linked to the computer, but it wasn't. Let me call the general. Hopefully he can hear me. Yes, Chief.
What you doing?
I'm good in a man.
Yeah, man, good to hear your voice, man. I'm following what's going on. Really, it's sad. Seems like we have become a police state. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And it's been there for a long time. Started from 2017, 18 when they started with emergencies. They take people with nothing in mind, just to detain it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we have found out continuously treasure not really helping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because people lose them work. Yeah? A lot of young men in Montego Bay who work at hotels, were scooped up and couldn't go to work. And they'll still find somebody else to work. Yeah?
Wow.
We really have that how we approach this forward. Yeah? And the next thing that is we need to have more proximity. The police need to come to the station and go in the community. Yeah?
Yeah.
You need to effectively have social workers who can identify at-risk youth from the school, from as early as primary school.
Right. So
Yeah?
for preventive purposes.
Yeah, especially our boys.
Mm-hmm.
Because they agree with you. And agenda issue I was calling you about. When you look at what is happening, a lot of our young men are just being left behind. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not saying that women should not be allowed to, because we support women's rights. We
Right.
support everybody's rights.
Right.
Woman, man, boy,
Period.
girl, no matter to us.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But the truth be told is we are leaving a generation of young men behind because we are saying now is the time to, and I don't want to sound politically incorrect, but we are pushing certain rights at the expense. The same breakdown with it, because when they're going to point about masculinity or
Yes.
toxic,
Yes.
we got
Yes.
on that road.
Yes.
Because there are women who are abusing men as well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Exactly.
And a lot of our men in the Caribbean, it's shown. that the research has shown that they're not reporting it.
Them just not report it,
Women who are
exactly.
beating their own sons.
Ah.
Them beat them up and tell them, remind them of them what this father.
Thank you very much. And even if they don't, and even watch out now, even if they don't beat them up, you know, just by telling them that you remind them of your what is father, them beating them up mentally, which is the psychological damage goes longer than the physical damage.
Nobody
Yes.
can recover.
Thank you.
But you see, also what we have to look at too, and that is why I keep on commending Mark Bolin for what he's saying in terms of values and attitude. PJ Patterson was preaching the message, you know, and JLP in 2002 laughed at PJ when he said Jamaican values and attitudes. But today, when it suits them, you know, using the very same Jamback program to issue scholarships to young people. Because that was what Jamback was paying.
Right.
You volunteer 250 hours whilst going to university and give back something to your community. So you would own certain skills. Yeah? So when you really look at it, teacher, we have to find a way, especially in this matter. And the police commissioner, let them continue now. Just know them not going to have any guns in them.
Say that again?
We have been there before. Just now the police will be without ballistic vests and guns. Yeah? And I'll tell you why. History is a way in itself. You remember in 20 removed commissioner?
Say that again. You break up. I don't know what happened to the connection.
No. You remember when they removed Commissioner Ellington as commissioner in 2018? Right. No, sorry. You know why he was removed?
No. Remind us.
Let me remind the listeners why. He was removed because, one, the U.S. had done some background on Ellington. One. They found that he was involved in something with some car stealing ring, you know, with schoolboy Richie. Remember that name? So it's the same Ellington who them put to go run Transport Authority.
Rotted.
Man who was told to remove himself because of that. But not only that, the US said they would not support the JCF anymore. So they refused to give us ballistic vests, handcuffs, and also guns.
Oh.
So they blacklisted us. And that forced the government of the day to say, no, Ellington, you have to go. You have to resign.
Wow.
Because we're not going to, and that's how Carl Williams was actually preferred by the United States, because his wife Anne-Marie Barnes and himself are both adjunct lecturers at AMU in Texas. Yeah? So when we got there, we vowed then, meaning the People's National Party, that we'll never have a scenario like this where the US have to say, no, killing too much people, so we can't give you any weapons. And
so you're saying history is repeating itself? My God.
Yeah, we had it in 2013. There were no guns, no ballistic vests. Remember, there was this incident at the training center, right? Where young men were being trained and a live round was on the training camp, and they had actually shoot a recruit.
You don't remember that situation ever true? No, it means that a man will listen to news, you know. Listen to me. I wasn't listening to news for years, but I remember that specific situation for real. That was crazy. Real, I remember that.
I'm a political historian, but I tell people I don't want to forget what happens in Jamaica, because what happened is we have short-term memory.
Yes.
So we fixed on what happened today and the day before, but we don't remember what happened 2 years ago, because we are all interconnected. So we are going down the same road, and I wouldn't be surprised if government stops purchasing funds from the United States and start to purchase it from China.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
They want to shoot me and you or kill me and you.
I would not be surprised either.
Yeah, they started by getting gifts from the Chinese for the army, so they have started to get equipment for the army.
Yes.
From China.
Yes.
And anybody will say in business with China when you come on to weapons, so it's mostly authoritarian countries. Because China no business if you want to shoot and kill 1,000 million people. That's not their problem. That's why I know they could sell.
Yes.
The Americans and the Brits and the Canadians will say, no. You have to show us that you have demonstrated certain human rights. And one of the things that really hurt me with this state of emergency, I've seen in 2015, 16, let's go back to 2018 actually. The police force have detained people from 2018 and trumped up charges, in some communities, particularly in areas of East Kingston and Eastern St. Andrew, East Rural, Eastern St. Andrew. So you're talking about places, Rockford, all the way back to Bull Bay, and then all the way back up to Papi. What they have been doing during that period, they're going to communities, they accuse young men of being gang leaders, gang leaders. Then them lock them up and hold them indefinitely. I know of individuals who have been in jail for 4 years, and every minute the case call up, them can't come out.
And that's not
the case just keeps on.
That's not surprising.
Indefinitely.
That's not surprising, because the other day Isaac Buchanan had a gentleman that was in there for probably over 25 years, 30, if not more.
Yeah.
Never got caught one time. Man turn old man.
And this is what I'm saying. We have to, and the Jamaican people have to be careful. What we're not doing, what we must not allow to happen is the state going into an authoritarian approach and dealing with this crime as if you can just use the issues to trump up on the rights of people. I don't business who you be.
Yes.
Whether you're P, you're J, or you're not P. When it comes down to constitutional rights, there's only one thing guiding. Outside of my Quran, as Christians would say, your Bible, outside of the Quran, there's only one thing guiding.
Yeah.
That is Almighty. Nothing else.
Nothing else. True.
So we no look upon color when it comes on to people's rights. You must all, because it's
or gender.
You not defending somebody's right. Today the policeman who shoots Joe can be the policeman who shoots you. Indiscriminately. So you have to, anywhere this thing called abuse of human rights rises its ugly head, we must deal with it. And for too long, we have taken the approach in Jamaica which has not allowed and it's the ordinary people who are getting this. You see this boy who beat up the woman? Had it not been for social media and with a walk with
Of course. That's facts.
Scotch free. Even, let's say his face was a little bit masked. Let's say the cameras were not working the way. The man would have walked scotch free. And you could tell that this is not his first occurrence, right? And whilst we're being so essentially, sensationalism about the whole issue, we're being sensationalist about the whole issue. What we need to look at is we need to seriously look at the other things which are very serious, which includes one, the police force for too long has taken this approach. Like in St. Mary, they're running off people off the road in Bailey'sville. They have had St. Mary under certain areas in St. Mary where don't have crimes. Not a crime hotspot. All of a sudden, St. Mary is hot. Yeah? And it's not a crime. St. Mary, anybody who knows St. Mary, the only place in St. Mary get trouble is not a be occasionally.
Okay, that's true.
Have its flare up,
that is true.
And it goes down.
Yankee bless, big up. That is true.
Why are you having a curfew continuous in places like Bailey'sville, 3 Hills, which is a residential community? May I speak about that and tell you how them people up there get their mansion through the land program and the PNP? Right. These are proper areas. Why are you putting curfews? You know why? Because the police is also trying to use the curfews, because a lot of these young men who are in these areas are not attached. Some of them get themselves occasionally in trouble, but they're now following the PNP. And we must realize that in Western St. Mary, a consequence that they're set to lose.
Yeah. So it is alleged that the police force is politicized and operating as such in favor of the ruling party.
Not they've always done it since the JLP.
Hi, Sassy, anyone?
The force has particularly in St. Mary.
Skip.
Because remember that the minister.
Skip, you break up. Me I call you back. Me no know.
What Monty Q?
You hear me?
No, go ahead.
Me I call you back. Because you break up. I want to see if we can get a better feed. Me I call you back.
Okay, no problem.
I don't know why it sounds so low. For one. Hey, me can get the other Bluetooth speaker? Huh? Hold on there, guys. Un momento, guys. Un momento. I'm going to get another speaker, Bluetooth speaker. That's kind of loud of one, so one can hear him I say clearly because what he's talking about right now is very important. Oh, thank you. No man, put it right here, sir. Yeah, but one then can hear it. Good. Alright. I'm not supposed to have a problem, no, with the volume. If I have a problem with the volume, all that means is that it's on his end. So let me turn this off.
Power off.
Thank you. Power off. So connect. So hold on. Why not connect to this automatically? What's going on here? Yeah, boombox. Connect. Okay. That was low. Alright, that's the best I can get out of it. Fine, let me call Lucky General now. That is it, man. That is it. We have contact. That is it. Telling you, man.
My brother, if you can hear me much better now.
1 second. Yeah, y'all hear me?
Hello? Yeah, man, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Alright, wonderful. Hold on there. Yes. So, alright, so y'all hear me still?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
Alright, them can hear a little bit better now. That speaker have a little bit more oomph. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's what we're seeing in St. Mary.
Something really wrong. Y'all use a Bluetooth or something?
No, man, I'm using I think it's my Wi-Fi. Bolo, give me 1 second, let me change the thing I'm on.
Alright, yeah, man. Cause me never really have that problem when him call me. He's always been clear and cogent. You know, I've been saying this on several occasions. The political climate that we have right now, the utterances that we have been getting from heads of government, people that are of high stature in terms of their time in government, Desmond Mackenzie, Everald Warmington, the type of stuff that is coming out of their mouth, you know, and not just them. Even gestures like Daryl Vaugh's gesture on stage and stuff like that, you know, the lack of action from the government when stuff like this happen. We haven't heard from Delroy Chuck, you know. Several young women have been raped, and we haven't heard from the justice minister. The same justice minister. Hello?
Yeah, my brother.
Yes.
This will be way much better.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my connection. Sometimes.
Yeah, that chip in and chip out same way, but.
Right. Right. So what I'm saying, as I quickly wrap up, that's what you're seeing happening in St. Mary. It's just some unjustified curfew. Because what happened? I think the police got a preview, or the government got a preview of what was coming in terms of the ruling. And if you see that they did not declare any state of emergency in these so-called areas that the curfew. Because they knew what was coming, and they couldn't use the state of emergency also too because of some. But remember now, while the case was going on, the government was using it in some places.
Yes.
They did not desist. So why they didn't use it in St. Mary? Because obviously, you're talking about St. Mary having 35 murders last year at for the year. At this stage, based upon the report I read in the Gleaner, St. Mary's has had only about 20-something murders. Yeah? So what warrants, and most of that is in the southeast St. Mary, what warrants you going into western St. Mary? A pretty much peaceful place except for one and few incidences to say you're going to keep curfew down there. I am telling people that the former Minister of National Security, who controls the St. Mary Police and the Portland Police and St. Ann Police, yeah, now what they're doing is flexing their muscles because they sense that they're losing, and what they're doing is trying to frustrate the young men who decide that they're going to vote for PNP. I'm not going to say all of these young men that they have not had a questionable past in the past. But when you come on to expressing a democratic right in a business, so long as a man now going in a political meet now, going out community and terrorize people, allow them to vote and express who they want to express that for. Yeah? So these mechanisms that they're using is really to try to stifle the voters in Western St. Mary and Southeast St. Mary. But there's nothing that they can do. The result will be the same. Done will be done, and there will be no more babbling. Yeah?
How much days we have left before September 3rd?
Before September the 3rd, I'm not very good at counting days, but I think we have, what, is it 90 days? I'm not good. Give me the month, trust me, I can't break down the days. I know
Yeah.
the hour, the minute, no.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, we're very, and we shouldn't be having a government breaking projects 3 months before an election.
Yeah, that
months
needs to
before
stop.
an election.
That needs to
It
stop.
needs to stop. And the PNP needs not to practice it either.
Yeah,
Because
we don't
what
want it
does,
no more. We're tired of that.
that's the way of thieving, and enough people don't realize it. If you want thief project money, start a project and ask for the mobilization fund. What happens when the contractor gets that
Very loud, very loud.
Yeah? You
Yeah, go
force
ahead.
him. You force that contractor to come and give you some of that money so you can campaign with it, and that's exactly what the JLP is doing. Yeah? I make no apologies in saying so, because that's exactly why they're breaking ground for these projects. Yeah? Because you can't do a pipeline in 6 months or 3 months.
Come on.
You can't do a building. Because if can't regional a building for how long? How you going to build a state-of-the-art new building in such short time? So we know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the people must understand. They're going to come with the money, but take it. Yeah? The reality of it is your money them thief and them a get back to you. And nobody can know who you vote for. This nonsense about people can tell you who you vote for. It's a lie. No single ballot is counted during the voting process. They just look on the ballot number and say ballot number 1, PNP get that one. Ballot number 2, PNP get that. That's all they do. They don't look, because no voter's name is on the ballot. Okay? So they can't know who you vote for. And people need to wise up about that part.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so
my
it's,
brother.
yeah, man.
Go ahead.
It's 106 days left before September 3rd. I just count it a while ago.
I wouldn't mind if you had removed the 0 and it was 16 days.
Mighty God, talk about it, man. My goodness.
Brother, I want to see the back of this. And I mean, tell people straight up. I have JLP people in my family. I have grown around. That's why I can have such good information from the JLP. I have friends in the JLP.
Yes.
My father was a part of the JLP.
Yeah?
Right. So, me know we have a friend in there. But I can tell you that Andrew Holness is arguably one of the worst things to have come into the Labour Party. One of the worst things.
It's funny you should say that, you know, man. I was on a call with a lady, man, and she was saying the same thing, man. It's not arguably. The man is the worst.
Let's be real. And I've said, and a lot of PNP obsessed with it when I said, when Bruce Golding won 2007, I was a young comrade just learning, understanding the party, right? But I was never drawn to the JLP. As a matter of fact, when I joined the youth movement of the PNP, a lot of persons in my family were shocked because someone said, you should have joined the G2K. Yeah, you're young, promising, and have potential. But one of the things that I saw that made me turn off distinctively from the JLP was when I would witness some of their functions that they would have had. Many of the JLP that don't like poor people and lower class people.
That is true. That
This
is
not being
true.
prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
I am telling you, when I used to go to functions, the first thing who you be? A lot of people would be wanting to know who you're, what you're antecedents.
Classism. Yes.
There's a level of classism in the
Mm-hmm.
JP which is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's a
telling you,
fact.
second to none. That in a period of time in the PNP, that classism crept its ugly head. I'm not afraid to say one thing when I speak justice.
Yeah.
Right? We have seen the PNP attempting to its real originality, especially under Mark Bowling as leader.
Yeah.
They started the process from even Dr. Phillips was trying to say, let's get back to the and talk about the covenant, let's get back to where we are coming from, what the values we believe in and all of those things.
Right.
But when you really look at it, the JLP has always been for the monarch class. I want to remind people, if you check the house now, there are 49 JLP MPs sitting in that house. I can bet you my bottom dollar that at least 25 of them are engaged in business, not just their personal business, but business which benefits from government support.
Business which what?
Which benefits from government support. Let we go. St. Thomas, you have the Onion Man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let we go. St. Mary, right? The same man to choose a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So all him could come take it, tell me otherwise. Because I've seen it my own eyes when they were doing major projects in St. Mary. How the money, how film driver used to come for the money on Friday when the bill was being paid. So nobody knows that. So Bobby have a privately is running a construction company that him not really put him face out there, but a seen thing. And everybody in our Western St. Mary know that. That's why the people them keep on saying, Bobby alone and his friend them I get things to St. Mary Western. Yeah?
Wow.
Don, we don't leave St. Mary yet, you know. Don is a pharmacy. Don owns the tax office building that nobody is in, collecting $15 million a month. Yeah?
How much?
15 million, sorry, a year.
Oh, can you Friday me? I'm say weird. What?
I made a mistake.
Yeah, that's why I say that sound weird.
50, yeah, man, 15 million a month. So
a year, $15 million a year.
A year.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on saying a month.
Yeah.
A year, sorry.
Yeah.
And then that's St. Mary. We will go Portland, it works. If you go Portland, it works. Huh? Because in Portland, the sitting Minister of Transport, by the way, who flies on a private gas company plane. Imagine you're the Minister of Energy, you know, and you're a gas company, a fly around in Jamaica. How could that be fair? Because therefore, any benefits that accrue from Petrojam that you can give preferential option, you can give to your personal person.
Right.
And Darrell, let's be real with Darrell. Darrell is just a deal maker. You see, Donald Trump said the heart of the deal, that's Donald. Darrell Baz is Jamaica's Donald Trump. Yeah? So
wow.
We say a Ford that we call it, right? Me not go to farm and want to send and Oatmeal Lawrence to import onions. Yeah? We not go in a Kingston and St. Andrew where one of them did go take up the Colorado land where them are privately a part of the business of Fontana Pharmacy. Me not call names yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So I'm telling you that why the country is not running is because we have elected officials who decide that their business comes before the country.
Yeah.
And I'm warning the PNP persons who are going into office. If you don't make the mistake and come, you know I get good pay for. A sitting MP is getting at least close to $15 million a month. Yeah? A month. Yeah? If you are getting that amount, sorry, no, I think I quoted wrong. Wasn't the amount 11 for MPs and 15 for ministers? So I'm quoting actually the minister's salary. They're getting 11 million a year. That's 5 years. 5, 11, 55. They're getting 55 million over your term. No, were you telling me, remember, you know, the ministers, the MPs still get traveling? Yeah?
Yeah.
They still get certain support funds. So why would you want to go into parliament? You're making $15 million a year. Good damn salary in Jamaica for anybody making that a year. For anybody making that in Jamaica. Why would you then want to still run your business when you have committed to public life? We must get to the stage where those who are going to serve should have no other business but the business of the country. And that's why I respect Mark Bowling. I've removed myself from all of my companies. I don't need to engage in business. Yeah?
Yeah. Total focus on the work at hand.
But that is why we're in the trouble that we're in. When one could have been writing book in the COVID pandemic and another one PhD in the COVID pandemic.
Class president just text me and say 14 million per year for normal NP, state minister 16 million, full minister
Thank you,
18
class
million.
president.
Yeah.
Right, so 14 million. So you see, I was a little bit off at 11. So 14. So imagine that. You don't need to be engaged in any business like that. And I'm saying that we're having a problem because we cannot have elected officials running businesses. It should never be allowed.
True,
in the
man.
United States, when you do, even you have people run businesses and go into office, but it's different. Because what happens in the United States is that donors declare that they have given to you. In Jamaica, we can't know who gives to the politicians.
Everything's secret, yes.
And we need to have that campaign financing reform. We need to know who is giving. You know why? When Joe blow up a mock-up, right? Our Tom Stroke down a Mafuta in St. James gets a contract. We need to know why was he given the contract. Was he given the contract because of his relationship with the minister? Or was he given the contract because he was donating to the party? Because if we see Joe Blow get a contract, and then all of a sudden we see campaigning with the party, we can then assume that contract was given to him because some of the funds goes back to the party. It's only fair. Yeah. So we have to look at those simple things like reforming our electoral law, because this is the loophole that man find to take the money.
My God.
I need to know who. You see this fertilizer thing, and this is the last.
Dangerous. That fertilizer thing is dangerous, brother. Me not lie.
I see my good friend Anissa Bell Rose put out that thing that I call her on. But she put out the number of 577. But it's not 577, it's 3,577 bags that were supposed to be destroyed, that to this day they can't tell you if they were destroyed because there's no record.
3,000?
3,575 bags.
Mighty God.
So 3,577 bags, or 75, sorry.
Yeah.
Supposedly destroyed. But when the internal audit from the Auditor General checked, there were no records to show, say, okay, NSWMA have proof that you delivered 300 bags on the dump site, 3,000 something bags on the dump site. My information from a retired RADA manager, parish manager, not an ordinary person, parish manager, he told me, and he was in the system when those marathon fertilizers came. He said that the RADA had not really much to do with the project. It was the Minister of Agriculture. Because it was being run from the ministry. Now, him said the next thing that happened in that project, that is, I tell you, that the 3,578 or 77 bags that's missing, that was destroyed. Those bags of fertilizers, in RADA system, you have to have a record of fertilizer being dumped, because of its nitrate content, A man could go there and go use it for other purposes, and you know what I'm referring to.
Right.
Because fertilizer is an important component in certain devices. So when you look at it, they lied to us to say that these 3,000 something bags of fertilizer were destroyed. They were not. They were sold on the private market for $13,000 a bag. So do the math. I am not very good at mathematics, and I keep on saying to people, but 3 3 is 9, 3 1 3.
My goodness.
It's clear that's about $39 million that somebody got.
How much a bag you say?
13,000 minimum per bag of fertilizer in Jamaica. Quality fertilizer, 13,000. And look at that 3,500 bags.
Well, I am putting it at the amount, 3,575 bags.
Yes.
That is $46.4 million.
Million. Okay, I don't know even what that was.
Mighty God.
And remember now, that's one of the scandals. Remember the 11,000 ones that's missing is fertilizer that is good. They claim is good, but it is missing. So it's two separate things. And I think this is where the country not seeing it. The 11,000 is 11,000 bags that the Auditor General says amount to a certain amount of money. I think he said 53 or 100 and something. So So that is separate from the 3,000 bags that they claim. But if anybody is to face prosecution for this, it is the permanent secretary of the ministry, Derman Spencer, J.C. Hutchinson, Floyd Green, and Frank Witter. And I'll tell you why. They all three served as ministers during the distribution of the fertilizer. They all. The fertilizer distribution was done from the Ministry of Agriculture. Come from RADA. Yeah? No politician should be distributing fertilizer. When me normally go bush, me and farmer friends, and I've done a little farming myself. If me want a bag of fertilizer, I want some implements of farming, I go to the MP. The MP gives me a note or a letter and it says go up to RADA. Okay? I go to RADA. RADA tells me, you have a vehicle to pick up the stuff? And I say, yes. This is where you're supposed to get a black tank. This, that. And they give me the stuff and we put them in the vehicle. And I go about it, and then it is sent back to the MP to say, I received the stuff. But what they did with these fertilizers was give it solely to the MPs and understand that the GLP stand to benefit more. They have 49 seats. 49 seats. So if every single MP for have 100 bag of fertilizer, how do the math? That's not 4,900? More than one. So I believe that a lot of those fertilizers were sold on the private market by the same MP because there's no record to say who collected from them as MPs. How could you be distributing fertilizers, distributing things, and you don't have a record who collect it, who get it? The only way that can happen is if a damn plan to thief. And that's what they were doing. And the minister can, and I am told that also in Northeast St. Elizabeth, it has been sold in Northeast St. Elizabeth, the same Moroccan fertilizer.
No. You see the labor right them out there that is gaining from these types of alleged skullduggery. Una no say una tear down your country. Una say una hide high level criminality and thinking you're gaining in some way. No, all you're doing is going to be continuously dependent on those people that are doing these things for you, and you'll never be liberated, and the country itself will never be liberated, and they themselves, their pockets will be fat forever. You guys are okay with that? I just want to ask that from the labor rights. Are you guys okay with that? No, sir. You can't bother.
My friend, that's what is bongo jungle.
What is this?
Because on a serious note, I agree with you, because what you're doing is you're damaging Jamaica's reputation.
Yes.
I interact with people from different places because I see various countries every month. And the moment I hear myself, so where are you from? I say, I'm from Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica, oh my, what a lovely country. Man, we need to visit. Yada, yada, yada. And they say what they say. Right? But I'm telling you right now, as we look at this, what they did with this Moroccan fertilizer, and by the way, the Kingdom of Morocco was donating fertilizer to every Caribbean country.
Right.
What they have done is that if we were to get more fertilizers from this government, we may not get any. Because the reports are coming out. Remember that the government showing that them are thief the fertilizer. You know?
Right. Right.
So what motivation will you give to countries who want to give us? But I'm saying, if this is how they thief the fertilizer, which is just fertilizer, physical something where you can see, where you can take up the bag and see. Imagine how they thief the money we put in see.
Mighty God.
All those donations to this day have not been accounted for. The Minister of Health can't tell you how much money the Minister of Health got in donation.
But remember, I'm saying money is not the problem, so.
Well, money is not the problem for Tufton. He's one of them in business as well. Money is not the problem. Tufton should never be a Minister of Health in no country.
He should never be a minister, period.
Knowing who Tufton's campaign financier is, that is why the local suppliers who normally would supply the Ministry of Health and different places, that same is not paid in some instances. Because Tufton's campaign financier, right, who have a big company, where the largest pharmaceutical distributor in Jamaica, they are with all of the contracts from the Ministry of Health. And the same money is going back to the finance campaign 2025 substance for president. Huh? That's a serious thing. If you look, the largest supplier or contractor for the Ministry of Health, it's a company. It's on Beachwood Avenue. The largest health distributor company in Jamaica. Now I can't nobody name to get in trouble now myself.
Yeah.
But the truth be told, it is wrong. You can't same thing going on, ministry after ministry. Ministry after ministry. In St. Mary, right? You have a man, counselor by the way, sitting on the board that approves past benefits to beneficiaries. So imagine my name come up there, your name come up the board and say, who you? No always upon social media talk about what they'll pay the rap. No man, no benefit to you. You cannot have scenarios like those. Yeah? And that is exactly what is happening. Anyway, brother, you know it is.
Respect.
So, you know, I can't make the Sunday pass and me not driving. I like the Sunday vibe, trust me.
Yeah, man,
anyway,
respect,
keep
man.
up the hard work, bro.
Yeah, man.
All the best.
Oh,
Cheers.
same to you, brother. Man, long time in a year from General and a head boy. You know what I mean? That's a lot. Yeah, the more I learn personally about the ins and outs. And Sassy 81, how you doing? I see you. Profound Ministries PSA say, listen people, too much long talking. We need to demonstrate and then vote out the thief in labor wrong. Yeah. Sassy 81, it's good to see you. George B said, blessings everyone. I would sit and listen to this man all day. That was head boy talking. He has a wealth of Jamaican political history. He's very informative. And I am glad he goes on other platforms and shares knowledge. Respect the Yankee bless in our place, you know what I mean? General. But the more I am learning, because I'm telling you straight, I'm probably the most ignorant political person in Jamaica. I'm probably in the top 100,000 of the most ignorant in terms of just knowing political history and all of these things. And a lot of the things that are mentioned to me is very new to me. You understand? And when you see me reacting, it's my raw reaction like I really did not know. You get me? I really did not know. So, wow. That's a lot, man. I'm sorry the sound quality wasn't better. I don't know what's going on with his end. I'm sure if I was using my computer, it would have been better. But then I would have robbed one side of my Oh, Sassy, can you? No, you're not in the group. Sassy, are you in the group? Who is in the group that's on right now? Yankee Bless, can I share the live in the group? I know a lot of people don't know I'm live now. I did not get to share it, you know. I didn't get to share it, honestly. Didn't get to share it at all. I only have 19 likes. Can we change that? Can we change that, gentle people? Really need that for change. That 19 likes something that, yeah, that need for change. Yeah, that have to change the 19 likes thing, you know how it work out. Give me a second, man. Like I said, this is the call-in show. You know, let me try and call Sassy 81 to see if the audio is better with her. Oh, here she is. I don't know if it's my computer. I don't know. Yeah, the rest of them we have voted for Labour, right? Shame on you. Shame. You have no touch with your history. Shame on you. Shame. If I was a Rasta, I wouldn't even consider Labour right government. Trust me. Alright. Number is 1-876-451-6535. 1-876-451-6535. That is the number. I wonder where Splash Digi there. Let me see with him there. Look like you out and about time asleep. Sunday rest. Sunday rest time. I rang him here. Early now, 12 o'clock. Probably all that you wait, probably not wait till well, yeah. You know. So we go. What is this? Why are my messages not going through? There's just way too much going on right now. Way too much. I got a thing earlier. A picture earlier. A man was fatally shot by the police during an alleged confrontation. The new thing now is confrontation, you know. You do not. What does confrontation mean? Hold on there. The new word that they're using in the police reports is confrontation. You know, you can't tell me that this is not organized. You cannot tell me this is not scripted. You can't convince me it's not scripted, you know. A man was fatally shot by the police during an alleged confrontation at a party in Longbow District in Ainantown, Clarendon on Sunday morning. Now, what time in the morning one party are going? Where them have brunch? Was it 4 a.m. in the morning? Party from last night slip over to now? This making my head hurt, bro. It's making my head hurt. What would the police do if they didn't have guns? How would they interact with citizens? Isn't there any non-lethal things them can use? What if every citizen had a gun? Legally. Man, listen. Something ain't right, bro. Why am I not hearing nothing on the box and this thing is telling me that yo, the Prime Minister has one of the fakest smiles I ever seen. But I don't know why this is not playing. There's no audio on it. He honestly looks like a robot, you know. I don't even want to mention that guy's name. I was in a taxi. Lorraine, how you doing, beautiful? I was in a taxi and somebody mentioned Philip Paulwell. And let me just say, the individual claimed to live in the area and she didn't have a lot of bright things to say about him. They were very nasty allegations. Why? We have to clean up Jamaica, yeah? This is not safe. It's not safe at all. Scotiabank confident wage agreement will soon be reached with union staff. NWC introduced Saturday opening ahead of amnesty deadline. PMP UHWI condemned vicious assault on female nurse. Let me hear this. No, man, something wrong, man. Hey, Miss Collins, what's up, my baby? Something is very, very wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm not getting no audio from my computer. That don't make no sense. I'm not getting no audio from my computer, yo. What is this? Oh, this box is fried. This box look like it done. Okay.
Bluetooth mode.
So how all of a sudden this one? Something just ain't right. Here we go. Oh, that's fine. I wanted to find out what was going on with the box. But it seems there's something wrong with my computer. See? Something wrong with the Bluetooth, man. I don't know if there's too much devices connected. Let me just remove this one and this one. But something is very wrong. Do I need to update my computer? Nah, I did that last night. So what's going on? Why am I not hearing anything from this?
On this culture of violence head on, especially when it affects our women and children.
Let's play that again.
I am lending my voice.
There we go.
To the chorus of
all right, Miss Collins, I see you, baby.
Who are condemning the vicious assault of a female nurse in a road rage incident. This wasn't just an act of violence. It was an act of savagery. That nurse could have easily lost her life or ended up with permanent injuries. We cannot treat these incidents as just another headline. We must confront this culture of violence head on, especially when it affects our women and children.
That is Mr. Alfred Dawes.
The FLA's investigation is critical. Firearm holders must be held to the highest standard, and any abuse of that privilege must be met with serious consequences. I am expressing solidarity with the Jamaica Nurses Association and the entire healthcare community, many of whom have been calling for greater protection amid growing threats of violence both inside and outside the workplace. We stand with our nurses, we stand with our women. Healthcare workers should never, ever have to fear for their lives simply trying to get to work.
Mighty God, talk about it, my brother. Appreciate Mr. Alfred Dawes for his I would love to hear from the ladies, you know. You know what I mean? This recent attack on this nurse, caught on camera, and the key word is caught on camera, because if it was not caught on camera, who knows? Who knows? You know? Court says high level of crime didn't constitute emergency. Let's listen to this.
In 2017, more than 1,600 Jamaicans were murdered. St. James alone accounted for 335 of those murders. It was one of the highest murder tallies in any parish in decades. The situation caused widespread alarm and resulted in calls for action. On January 18, 2018, Prime Minister Andrew Holness advised the country that the Governor-General had declared a state of public emergency across the parish. At the time, Holness indicated that the security forces had advised him that crime in the parish was of such a nature and so extensive in scale that it warranted the declaration. On Friday, the judges of the Constitutional Court threw cold water on that security advice. In their judgment, no emergency existed within the meaning of the Jamaican Constitution. In dismissing evidence provided to the court by Deputy Commissioner of Police Clifford Blake, the judges reasoned that the senior crime fighter had not identified the person or bodies of persons who had taken action to warrant the imposition of a state of emergency. The judges say DCP Blake only described, in general terms, the high crime rate in various areas. Despite the government's argument that the Governor-General declared the states of emergency to secure the essentials of life in the affected communities, the three learned judges declared that there was no evidence of that. According to the judges, the fact that there was a sharp decline in murders and shootings during the period of a state of emergency is not within the spirit of the requirement of the Constitution. The judges reasoned that an argument of the ends justified the means was not persuasive. In a particularly surprising part of the judgment, it also appears the judges believe the normalization of a high crime rate in Jamaica means it can no longer be considered an emergency. According to their reasoning, there is logic and good sense in the assertion that a state of affairs which persists over a period of years cannot properly be described as an emergency. They determined that under the Constitution, an emergency is something sudden or unexpected that negatively impacts an entire community. They say in order for the declaration to be valid, the Governor-General must be satisfied that the action is sudden and on so extensive a scale that it is likely to endanger public safety. The judges say the action must have already been taken or is immediately threatened. They say a state of emergency as intended by the Constitution would be justified if a war was imminent, there was an earthquake or hurricane, or if the country's democratic institutions were threatened by subversion. Criminologists have repeatedly pointed out that the country's murder rate is in fact equivalent to countries that are at war. The judges argued that the persisting problem of murders in areas such as St. James is evidence that the declaration of the states of emergency has not achieved the goal of containing serious criminal activities in the areas it was imposed. This, they say, proved declarations were not demonstrably justified or proportionate. Finally, the judges found that the declaration of new states of emergency days after the expiration of another was an attempt by the government to circumvent the constitutional provisions and process. The declarations were declared void and inconsistent with the Constitution. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
You notice how Nationwide put that together? Not even going to listen no more of that. But the fact of the matter is, the government is appealing it. What can go so? Now, I want you guys to bear with me. I am encouraging you to call in. This is what you would call a freestyle stream, right? So I remember the Prime Minister said something in his budget about the same SOEs. It's a 5-hour thing, so I'm going to be skimming through to find where he talked about crime.
If we start at independence. We lost of wealth from the port 80s. And this was a city to lecture this abandons the child. But when I didn't know why, Madam Speaker, because I pass the stage of trying to be in a popularity game. So I'm not going to go do reckless things for popularity. Madam Speaker, I do it for the love from an asset for a lump sum value today. Fair charge. Which it's hard to present the information without the political undertones. But I would really want members to ruminate on what is about to be presented. Subdue them quickly. We will recover and return to growth in short order. This government is systematically strengthening our social protection framework, expanding opportunities and breaking the cycle of generational poverty. We are not just talking about it, we are taking decisive actions. In 2021, we introduced Jamaica's first ever social pension, providing a guaranteed income of $15,000 for vulnerable Jamaicans 75 years and older, ensuring that they can live in dignity in their golden years. We have ramped up investment in the new social housing program or pension scheme in Bvrclips. We increased funding for the attempt in 2020 is that thousands of children in low-income families reach of a path household or a ward of the state will be back our economic transition. And in 2019, we made a record $9.5 billion investment to modernize our security apparatus. This substantial increase in our first term was necessary to compensate for years of underinvestment. And you can just look at the years of underinvestment. In fact, when you look at the last 20 years, it's clear that the Jamaica Labour Party government made the greatest attempt at funding the security forces.
This is the part I wanted to listen to.
Have strengthened our security forces through investments in equipment, vehicles, to reducing violence. This is not rhetoric. This is not an opinion. This is an undeniable fact backed by empirical data on inflation, unemployment, exchange rate, balance of payment, net international reserve, debt to GDP ratio, and poverty reduction.
All right, so I want to listen to this part of the budget when he talked about the security forces. I want to listen to this. There's a specific thing that I'm actually looking for. So I'm going to speed it up. Because I know some phone not even want to hear me now. I'm going to speed it up a bit. Alright? Because this thing too long.
Madam Speaker, creating wealth and making it accessible to all is the DNA of the JLP. Bring to it so that the ordinary Jamaicans can participate and share in the value they create when paired with private sector enterprise and innovation. At this stage, I can announce that the Jamaica Mortgage Bank is being prepared to aspire. And that S stands for safety and security. Madam Speaker, there can be no real economic growth, no true inclusion without security. For too long, violent crime has cast a shadow over our progress, stealing the potential of young lives and holding back our economic transformation. Thankfully, we can now say the tide is turning. Jamaica is taking decisive actions against violence producers, and the results are evident. Madam Speaker, in 2024, Jamaica recorded a 19% reduction in murders, following a 7% decline in 2023, bringing our homicide rate to 40.1 per 100,000. While still high, we are now outperforming some of our regional peers, a stark contrast to 2016, when Jamaica had the highest crime rates in the Caribbean at 50 per 100,000. Unlike much of the region, where homicide rates are currently surging past ours, we have reversed the trend, and now other countries are studying our approach to reducing violence. Notably, Madam Speaker, the 2024 Christmas season was the safest in 20 years, with just 6 murders recorded during the Christmas week. Since 2024, the country has seen a sustained decline in murders, culminating in 47 murders in February 2025, the lowest monthly total in 25 years, and a 43% reduction compared to February 2024. If you were to compare between February 2022 and February 2025, murders have declined 55%. Additionally, major crimes as a whole, including murders, shooting, robbery, and break-ins, have declined by 21%, reaching the lowest level since disaggregated data collection began in 1999. Jamaica is now safer than at any point in the last 20 years. On our current trajectory, Jamaica is on track to record fewer than 1,000 murders in a single year for the first time since 2003. We are confident that this downward trajectory will persist as these results from our deliberate planning, strategic investments, and targeted efforts to dismantle organized criminal gangs. My government has recognized violence as a national emergency, and as such, made the strongest sustained investment in national security in Jamaica's history. In 2015, before my administration, capital expenditure for national security was $2.67 billion. $2.67 billion. Yes, there were times in the 90s and early 2000s where the capital budget was non-existent. So when we wonder why we have the security problem, just trace it back to poor economic policies, where you had to spend 70% of your tax revenues on repaying debt caused by poor economic decisions. By 2018, we increased the spending on security to $12.7 billion. In 2019, we made a record $19.5 billion investment to modernize our security apparatus. This substantial increase in our first term was necessary to compensate years of underinvestment. And you can just look at the years of underinvestment. In fact, when you look at the last 20 years, it is clear that the Jamaica Labour Party government made the greatest attempt at funding the security
Philip Wagwan. He said
these funds have strengthened our security forces through investments in equipment, vehicles, intelligence, forensic technology, and advanced training in cybercrime, counter-trafficking, and financial intelligence. We have enhanced the operational ability of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaica Defence Force, rearming them with modern tools to dismantle criminal networks. In the case of the JCF, we have invested in building one of the most advanced law enforcement agencies in the hemisphere.
Did you hear that?
To this end, significant progress is being made on the development of a C5 center, that is a state-of-the-art command and control center. This cutting-edge center will seamlessly integrate, coordinate, and analyze real-time data from all available sources, including CCTV and body-worn cameras. I break script, Madam Speaker, to point out that there's a lot of debate going on. Why is it that the JDF and the JCF are not wearing cameras on their person? I think kind of misunderstanding to believe that standalone cameras can be effective. That's not the case. You have to build out an entire back-end network to ensure that the footage on the camera can be downloaded, can be stored and retrieved, that can be digitally transmitted to other locations, that it can be protected manipulation.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, do you guys remember what Isaac Buchanan said about a court case? Wagwan Vernal, a court case. When was the budget? Last year? When was this budget? 1 month ago. Good, not so long ago. Do you remember Isaac Buchanan on Parnajar TV talking about a case that he's involved with, that the body-worn camera from the traffic police. So if the body-worn camera from the traffic police, they could have pulled the footage. What is this man talking about when he just said this? That this network has to be put together. Then it's obvious there's some type of network where they can go and take the footage from the body-worn camera. So why not reinvest that body-worn camera from the traffic police to the man with the operation, ladies and gentlemen, with the evidence that we have from Isaac Buchanan in his court case? What that tells me is that these people really don't want the police that are going on operation to be wearing body-worn cameras. That is all they're telling me. That is all they're telling me. And I didn't even come onto this thing for this. But it comes, so me I address it. It's there, so I'm going to address it. What else am I supposed to think? You said this in the budget, but a month from the budget, we are hearing that this system, right, is actually somewhat in place. So why is only the traffic police wearing body-worn cameras? When the key issue that we're having is the situations where these men go on operation. So there's body-worn cameras and there's a system. However small it might be, there's a system. Why not use those resources for the people that are going on operation? You don't want us to see what they're really doing now, do you? They want to put out statements. Oh, there was a confrontation with the police and no accountability, yes? Jamaica? Jamaica? Hey!
When we say that we are going to do a force-wide use of body cameras, it's not just buying a little camera off the shelf or getting that camera from a supplier here. We have to think of and implement a system-wide comprehensive solution. And I'm afraid, Madam Speaker, that sometimes this is just the haphazard thinking that forces governments into making wrong decisions. But Madam Speaker, it's the same thing that we have done with our police cars. You know, we have totally changed the way in which we order and purchase and maintain and use our police cars.
You mean you will have somebody in a year government that got money for police cars and ordered used police cars is talking about how to buy and maintain police cars? Bro.
Hey, who is this? Oh, man, is this? Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
If I am not mistaken, no, Bobby Montague didn't charge a security minister. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there a scandal with Bobby Montague and used cars that would still not receive yet? I mean, look at their faces. They have no shame. Huh? So you're going to tell me that you guys just selectively forgot about the Bobby Montague situation? My God.
We don't buy a police car. We buy a transportation service. A full-end solution. And just to be clear, there are no used cars in what we are procuring.
Oh, so there's no used cars. So, oh, you remember about the used car them. That's why you said that. Yo.
So, this cutting-edge center will seamlessly integrate, coordinate, and analyze real-time data from all available sources, including CCTV and cameras supported by a robust back-end infrastructure. This development is a game changer for modern, efficient, and intelligence-driven policing that will have a major impact on crime. The government's Project ROCK initiative, which was launched in 2019 to modernize the physical infrastructure of the JCF, seeing the construction of numerous facilities across the island. Through the public sector compensation review, my government has ensured that our police officers are now in receipt of a more reasonable salary and pensions, befitting of their profession, and provides a better foundation for future negotiations. The resulting boost to the morale cannot be overstated, and it has made a career in the JCF more appealing. For the first time in the history of the force, the establishment strength of 14,000 officers has been met. More police officers and more vehicles mean greater coverage of our communities and more rapid responses to threats and citizen emergencies. Since 2021, the purchases of vehicles and the build-out of Jamaica ICCTV systems have been transferred to the capitalized recurrent budget to ensure continuous replenishment. This is a big move, Madam Speaker, because instead of treating them as capital projects, one-off expenditure, they are now being treated as items maintained and consistently. Madam Speaker, the role of the JDF in the overall reduction in violent crime through their support for the JCF is crucial, particularly in specialized security measures have been declared, that is the zones of special operations and states of public emergency. The JDF is the premier defense force, notably leading the planning preparation for the CARICOM Joint Task Force in Haiti since September 2024 and executing multi-country military exercises enhancing interoperability in cybersecurity, counter-narcotics, search and rescue, and disaster relief. Madam Speaker, our borders are more secure than ever before, due in large part.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
Bro. Yo, Liberate, you don't believe him when you say that? That our borders are more secure than ever? Do you really believe that? Where's the evidence of that? There's evidence to point to the latter.
The new patrol vessels, helicopters, maritime patrol aircraft, and other technical equipment we procured for the JDF. They are now better equipped to interdict illicit vessels and aircraft trafficking weapons, narcotics, and people. This year, we will further enhance maritime security with the addition of 24 surface.
Well, if what he's saying is true, when we see things go left, we have to blame them. When the drugs them come in, because the impression that he's giving, my God, it's very effective. So I think the Jamaican people should hold him accountable, even more accountable, seeing that they're boasting these different things that they have put in. More secure than ever.
Interceptor vessel.
One thing container chicken.
Strengthening the protection of our border and blue economy. However, Madam Speaker, we note that most illicit weapons which fuel gang violence enter Jamaica through formal ports of entry. To improve our ability to secure this channel, we have been investing in advanced scanners and enhanced security protocols at all customs, at all areas in Jamaica customs. And
so to the police station down at Portland, where we see Isaac Buchanan highlight when rain fall, The place are wet up. Unsecured. Undermanned. Under-equipped. What go on for that place down at Portland? Portland, the people them do drugs and so. Portland is one place where they like to come through. I don't know, I'm not a criminal, I'm just an axe. Just an axe.
The result is evidenced by major gun finds at our ports in recent times, including yesterday. I would like to acknowledge the Jamaican Customs for their increased vigilance and generally commend the security forces and our partners for increased cooperation, intelligence sharing, which has yielded great results. Every weapon and ammunition kept off our street is potentially a life saved. Additionally, we are finalizing the Customs Mutual Assistance Agreement with the United States, which will enable even further and greater intelligence sharing to strengthen our port security and protect our national and economic interests. Madam Speaker, data and intelligence confirms that Jamaica's chronic violence is driven by organized criminal enterprises, euphemistically called gangs. It's not sociological or economic factors like poverty or unemployment that drives violence, as the opposition would have us believe. More than 70% of murders in Jamaica are directly related to gangs. Madam Speaker, I want to draw your attention to the graph being displayed.
You know, before he goes there, again, guys, the number is 1-876-451-6535. You are more than welcome to call into the show. This is the call-in show. This is Marathon Sundays. Alright? And you see me forward early. I'm see me there. And I see one person call me since we start and a head boy. I'm there, I want to hear from the female them. No, Sassy says she can't put it into words. Well, I would tell her to use the words that she have and call in. But let me go back to this one.
Madam Speaker, I want to draw your attention to RD would have us believe. More than 70% of murders.
Yes, so the Prime Minister wants to argue that poverty and social status is not really playing a role into crime. You know, I really question this man's mental faculties. There's nowhere on earth where poverty does not play a role into crime. And let me tell you why. Most people that go into crime is because of their lack of money, lack of opportunity. The big drug dealers pull up on the youths them in the ghetto, driving them Benz and them this and them that. Even sexual assault victims are vulnerable because of poverty. Because if they had a father and a mother and a home that was secured physically and otherwise, and they had everything they needed to stay home, a lot of them would not be abused. They would not be subjected to the streets for them to be abused. So this man is out of, his entire government is out of touch, you know, with reality, you know. Gangs are formed. The root cause of the gangs being formed is lack of opportunity. Where are most of the gangs? Huh? I'm not talking about the gang leaders, you know, because some politicians are gang leaders. I'm saying, where are most of the gangs? in the ghetto, in the garrison, in the areas where if you ever give a man $1,000 and tell him, say, yeah man, buy yourself a drink, he probably would have want, I don't know about now, but how things used to run, if you show a garrison man kindness, or a garrison you with kindness, you automatically turn him father and done in a most cases. If you show him perpetual kindness like that, if a man touch you, or he hear say a man want to touch you, that man not get the chance to touch you, you know? Why? Because the lack of opportunity, and then you show them that type of kindness there. So you have people that manipulate that loyalty, that have their money, right? They use their money to manipulate that loyalty, knowing say that they will do anything for them because you are the done for them. You understand what I say? Because you are take care of them. They manipulate the loyalty there. But you see, if they need have a real home with a father to teach them, say, yo, don't depend upon no one. You have to go out there and go fish for yourself. You understand? You have to stand strong. And then put him in a school to give me opportunity where, all right, where you want to work, you want to do this, you have to decide. You know, where you want to get involved in. If the people, how much wealthy people pick the youth are going to violence? Unless them family have a history of violence. They might try to turn doctor and lawyer and all type of thing. Lisa 1, 2, 3, big up. You understand? How much rich people pick me and see a turn athlete? How much of them see a turn athlete? Just, and that brings me to this. Because you see my brain, if you don't stick around, you know, man, I tell you. If you don't stick around, just the reasoning alone. Bolo, what topic are you discussing? Anything you want to call about, you can call about. Any topic. Any relevant topic we're going on in Jamaica right now that you're concerned about, you can call it. Right now, I was looking over the SOEs. I was talking about the brother was stepping at the lady head. And when I talk about the children, them will get, these are the 3 top topics. The children, them will get raped by repeat offenders who come out of prison. I haven't really had a call-in show to hear from you guys about those things and those matters. So I would have loved to, heard from you, So I said today or this morning early at this juncture, I would have that, I would put that out there, right? And give the opportunity to the people so they can call in. I need to have one place where I have all of my stuff, all of my video references that I want to. Oh, sorry. Hello, Sassy, how you doing, love? Are you hearing me? I am not hearing you for whatever reason, which is weird. That's very weird indeed. What is going on, man? Have they scienced my computer or something? Why? I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm not hearing you. This is very strange. Very strange indeed. Because this don't even ring. Just hold on there.
In Jamaica are directly related to gangs. Madam Speaker.
Him say, what go on with the dead fish in a Hanover? Oh, is Hanover happen? I don't know, man. It's kind of weird what's going on with all these things, these occurrences with chicken and fish. You know what somebody said in our chat? You know, could it be underground mining that caused that? Could it be underground mining causing that? Cause remember them saying no gold in no island there, Jamaica, you know. You remember, right? So could it be that they're digging for the oil under the ocean and it's causing, that's what caused those fishes to I know you tried, Sassy. I don't know what happened. I tried as well several times. Let me try one more time. It's not ringing. It's not ringing. You know, it's not ringing on my end at all. I'm not getting nothing at all from the computer. I try. I try to press power off on the Bluetooth box.
Power off.
And it not come off. That's crazy. Still not here.
Bluetooth mode.
Still not here. I don't know what's happening. Bolo, I am concerned about everything, especially the abuse of the nurse sister. Sassy. Alright, so the Bluetooth is I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. The Bluetooth doesn't seem to want to pick up the call. Hello? Alright, so when that oh, she hung up. Alright, we tried. She said, but more so in St. Thomas, I believe criminals want to come take away our lands up there, and they want to do it quick. Yeah, St. Thomas people, hey, stay vigilant, stay prayed up, and organize yourself. Alright? Organize yourself.
I want to draw your attention to the graph being displayed, or about to be displayed. It is the same graph that I believe the leader of the opposition displayed. But he had a different interpretation of the statistics. Let me offer mine. Let us recall that the drop in murders from 2009 to 2014, which you see as a arrow, for which the opposition seeks to take credit, was a direct result of the state of public emergency launched in May 2010 by the Jamaica Labour Party administration.
So in here I use state of emergency for why crime go down. Listening up.
Which dismantled and scattered the gang and created a 21% drop in murders in 2011. 21% drop in murders in 2011. No other police action has resulted in any such drop. In 2011, murders stabilized, as you can see, and in 2012, stabilized. This created a respite where targeted police operations against gangs and violence producers resulted in 2024 having the lowest number of murders in the last 20 years. So 2014 was the lowest number of murders, and that is under the PNP in the last 20 years. But it's not as a result of the PNP's action. It is as a result of the 2010 state of public emergency, which gave you a 21% reduction, then a slight carry-on reduction in 2012. Madam Speaker, I still posit that if the opposition then
listen to this,
had supported the government in extending the state of public emergency, the fall in murders would have been even greater.
So, Andrew Owen's position was clear from the budget speech. When it this is the part of me want to find. You know what? Let me clip it up. I need to have this clipped up in my file when it come on to the state of emergency with Andrew Owen. He really is holding on to the state of emergency, and he still does not see that the state of emergency truly did nothing, sir. The state of emergency did nothing to stop the crime. It didn't. It didn't do a thing to stop the crime. It's not the state of emergency that did it, because the state of emergencies have been cut and the crime name still a go down according to UNO. So it proves and validates the point that the People's National Party made, that you're not supposed to violate our constitutional rights, the innocent people of Jamaica, to take down the crime in Jamaica. And for those that don't like the Constitution, please go live in a country that is a dictatorship. I thank you. Yeah, man, go ahead. Go ahead and live in a country where it's not a democracy. Please. Since it's so wonderful. Right? Come on, go on, man. Go on, now. Democracy is all about striking a balance, you know. Right? No, in any system, no system is perfect. You're going to need people in the system itself, right, that wants to do right by the people. That's really the key thing, you know. It's the individuals in leadership is the key thing. You get me? With the wrong leader, every system will fail, even a dictatorship. Yeah. With the wrong leader, every system will fail. And when it comes to leadership, especially when it comes to a country, it is so important because you manage an extensive team of people and resources of the people. Joan Evans, how are you doing? So, oh man, this guy is sad, man. This guy is really sad, guys. This guy is really sad. Oh Lord, I messed up. I messed up. Please forgive me. Game capture. Is it game capture? No. Window capture. Has to be window capture. Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, it is display capture. Right. Why OBS is a thing, you know? My God. Delete. What the timestamp? The 2-hour mark. So at the 2-hour mark, Prime Minister had this to say.
Bvrclips is a small city located about...
God have mercy.
This honorable house resumes its...
was a direct result of the graph being displayed, or about attention. So, I want to draw attention to the graph being displayed, or about. I want to draw your attention to the graph being displayed, or about to be displayed. It is the same graph that I believe the leader of the opposition displayed. But he had a different interpretation of the statistics. Let me offer mine. Let us recall that the murders from 2009 to 2014, which you see as the first arrow, for which the opposition seeks to take credit, was a direct result of the state of public emergency launched in May 2010 by the Jamaica Labour Party administration, which dismantled and the gangs and created a 21% drop in murders in 2011. 21% drop in murders in 2011. No other police action has resulted in any such drop. In 2011, murders stabilized, as you can see, and in 2012 stabilized. This created a respite where targeted police operations against gangs and violence producers resulted in 2024 having the lowest number of murders in the last 20 years. So 2014 was the lowest number of murders, and that is under the PNP in the last 20 years. But it's not as a result of the PNP's action. It is as a result of the 2010 state of public emergency, which gave you a 21% reduction, then a slight carry-on reduction in 2012. Madam Speaker, I still posit that if the opposition then had supported the government in extending the state of public emergency, the fall in murders would have been even greater. So in 2013, there was a little spike in murders, and in 2014...
That's all I need. I just needed that little clip, so I just recorded it. Yep. Yo, I cannot. You don't have to go through anymore, Sassidi. Sassidi, you do not have to go through anymore. Later this evening, 6 p.m., you know, say a Milk River primary and infant. You know, say this, so we are gonna stream that live. I need to make a thumbnail. Friends, ones you can depend on, we need friends. Ian Hills. What else? I don't know. I don't do well with these types of shows. The people don't want to call in. Even when you know, even when things are going well and my computer is good and everything. People don't want to call it. I don't know. What is? Oh. One of the throwback videos I dropped a month ago. It's doing well. What else is happening in the news? Sunday is usually quiet with the news, you know. Unless it's political, it's usually quiet. Yo. Yo, these people are hilarious, bro. These people are hilarious. Lord of mercy. Goodbye. Oh, God. Somebody call themselves these nuts. That's wild. Oh, JFJ, welcome ruling declaring routine SOEs. Let me look at this one. Let me hear what the JFJ has to say. No audibles? Oh, wow. Let me go on their website. On Twitter. Let me go on their page on Twitter. See if they released any JFJ. JFJ says Jamaicans for Justice welcomes the ruling of the Supreme Court of Jamaica in Dayton Campbell versus Attorney General 2025 JMFC, which declared multiple states of public emergencies imposed between January 8, 2018 and February 2023 unconstitutional and void. The court ruled that these SOEs were not declared for purposes specified under the Section 20 of the Constitution, were not demonstrably justified in a free and democratic. JFJ commitment to the principle of rule of law is exemplified by our efforts in Everton Douglas, E.T. Alvey, the Minister of National Security, E.T. Al 2020. What is this? James C. Civ 269, where Justice Bertram Morrison ruled on September 18, 2020, that the detention of 5 men, Everton Douglas, Nicholas Heath, Courtney Hall, Courtney Thompson, and Gavin Noble under SOPEs was unlawful and unconstitutional. JFJ is deeply disappointed by the government's immediate announcement to appeal. That is embarrassing, isn't it? Celine Wagwan from East Portland, big up. Dave Fagan, Jesus loves you too much. True, true. This posture coupled with the government's stated satisfaction with the conduct of Parliament and the Governor General disregard the court's clear findings and constitutional violation and risk perpetuating unlawful practices that harm vulnerable Jamaicans. I agree. I agree with that. It's very, very alarming that the government is immediately going to appeal. Very alarming indeed. In 2023, those through access to information requests submitted by JFJ, data from the Ministry of National Security showed that between November 2022 and March 2023, 44 persons were detained under state of emergency, with only 3 detentions yielding. Now, if you arrest 40 people, 44, and only 3 is detained. That is an absolute failure. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's not 1% of the amount. So you are failing at a 99.25 rate. 3 out of 44. 1% of 44 no. A 4.4 no. I don't think y'all heard me though. 1% of 44 is 4.4. So 99.25% failure. I want to hear the Prime Minister a while ago. Them not ready. You know, so anytime I do them live stream, yeah, when I freestyle, I always, oh, yes. I absolutely forgot the banger.
Attack for the press. Well, my people,
forgot the banger.
who know where every blouse and skirt type believe say, who no can't one charge alone being slapped with 5 charges. As you see me,
And left on.
seriously, we tired of this government here. My wisdom warriors, take a look at this.
If George Wright has made peace with his God, and those he has transgressed against, who are these to judge George Wright?
You listen to this, dog. You listen to this, Jamaica. Imagine Christopher Tufton left town, gone to Westmoreland, gone tell Westmoreland Central people them, say they must forgive and condone George Wright. The abuse. We saw the video. George Wright beat the woman with his stool. And here we have a government minister. I tell the people, them say they must condemn. Who are we to judge George Wright? And that thing say, you know. But Jamaica, to show no the hypocrisy of the Jamaica Labour Party. Darnett Foster Allen, a woman, councillor for the Cornwall Mountain Division, she sat there and she said nothing as a woman. Silence means consent. And you mean to tell me, Jamaica, that a woman, a lone female councillor in the Jamaica Labour Party caucus down there in Westmoreland, she sat there and she was in agreement, all because it is what? Her JLP counterpart? Jamaica. You see, Tufton come out, come and condemn the Labour right man. It is clear, see my Andrew Holness here, them my friend, we turn up in the nurse head this week and slam her body to the ground. So how Christopher Tufton come out and condemn this abuse, but at the same time I condone what George Wright do. Right?
Excellent point, Dre Bryan. Excellent point, sir. I never even thought about that. My God. What the hypocrisy. These people are convenient. You see, them are real PR government, you know. They are convenient in their outreach. It's called gaslighting. Oh, I have to say something because it's popular to say it. But they say nothing when it's unpopular. That's why Andrew Holness is quiet. We haven't heard anything from Andrew Holness about his so-called friend that stepped in the nurse head. Mel W, how you doing? With a gun in his hand. Body slammed the lady twice. Shout out to my brother Mel Dub in the building. It's good to see you, sir. Twice, ladies and gentlemen.
It is right or wrong is wrong, Jamaica. Both are abuse and they must be rejected totally.
Quite so.
Jamaica, it is unacceptable. You come out and I tell the people them and I ask them, who are we to judge George Wright? After it is clear, George, in the video, they beat out the blouse and skirt out of the woman with a stool. Eh?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I never knew about this story initially with George Wright up until recently. And you guys can go watch my video about that story. That was my raw and uncut reaction in seeing the video. I was taken aback. I was at a loss for words, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was very angry. You understand? Of what I was seeing. That man was he was mauling the lady with the board stool. He was hitting her viciously. He wasn't holding back. And remember, he's a man and she's a female. He was giving her all of his strength. You understand what I'm saying? She was running away and he was running her down. God bless her heart if she has forgiven him and forgotten what he did to her, and is still in that household cooking him dinner and him eating it. God bless her. She have a heart. I not tell no woman to take no type of beating and stick with no man. That was not a normal, regular abuse. Alright? Divorce same time. Charge, got prison. And if she's living in fear, somehow, my God, what a life. Because I can't understand it. I really cannot. Even the most grandest of Christians. My mother a good Christian. And my mother not still in no abusive relationship. You understand? It not happening. Ain't gonna happen. You feel me? So, I don't know. And my mother never received no type of violent act from my father of like this George Wright situation. I never see that yet. And me live with my parents. The man take the chair, board stool, the board chair, look at chair the west on a bar. And the man beat the woman with the chair several times in the man. The man collar the woman and the man collar the lady and the man lick the woman behind her head. The man carry back his hand go way around so in the man. Behind him back, you know. And you want the Jamaican people to accept a man like this now with Parliament. Because you guys, and all of the ladies in the Jamaica Labour Party, all of you are, I mean, all of you. If you're quiet about this, it applies to you. If you're still in that party and you haven't resigned, it applies to you. If you're a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, it applies to you. And you're a woman, it applies to you. What I'm about to say. Why you think it can't happen to you? Why you think it can't happen to you? And if it had happened to you, would you want people to accept it and not be outraged and not demand this man not be in Parliament? Would you be okay with a man like this representing the Jamaican people, law-abiding citizens? Not because he didn't get charged, because she didn't press charges, means that he's not a criminal. In the eyes of the people. What he did was a crime to the lady. And you guys accept that and you call yourselves women? You guys don't support. So all of this, you see, hey, KB, Kwame Brown said this a lot, you know. There's this false narrative that women really support women. Y'all don't support each other. Y'all support each other when it's convenient. Y'all really don't have the same ideals and principles that y'all live by and a code. You don't. You guys don't see things the same. So this woman power foolishness when I go on with around the world, cut it out. Just cut it out. Alright? And I never really spoke on this. But you see what happened with what's your name? Well, you know what? The individual called Mega the Stallion. And what's the guy's name that was in prison or in prison still? Can't remember his name. It's alleged that that dude is just innocent. And she used the woman card on you guys. And she cried, oh my God, you know, you just should support a woman. I can't believe people. When the evidence showed that the man is, tie something on that. The evidence showed that the dude is probably innocent. What's going on, Kenny Ken? The dude is probably innocent. I'm talking about, man, yo. Y'all really don't support each other, man. All the women out there, I'm telling y'all right now, y'all are on an island by yourselves. So keep throwing men under the bus, because not all of us are like the ones that y'all is talking about. Keep throwing men under the bus. Keep saying y'all don't need men. Keep doing all of that. All right? Until you realize how much, yeah. You know, the role that men play on this earth is severely undermined. Severely. It's not championed. It's not recognized. Oh, that's what you're supposed to do. But every little thing that a woman does in society is championed. And it's just the truth. Alright, me I'll give an example. Woman give birth. You never hear anybody say, well, God gave you the ability to do it, so why should people praise you to give birth? You'll never hear anybody say that. But they do it to men. They do it to men. The real hard conversation that we need to have in our society, where respect is a mutual thing, a lot of people don't want to have. What I see in the world happening right now, there's a struggle for domination between the two genders. There are women that want to dominate men. And I'm talking about all men in society on a high level, government level. And then you have the men that want to dominate everybody. Women and men. And the women want to dominate women and men too. But you understand there's a gender war going on. They like to put out statistics about females and, you know, efforts put out there for females. While a lot of the young men falter by the wayside because there's no focus on them. There's focus on the protection of females. There is no focus on the protection of males. You don't really hear this balanced conversation, you only hear one side. And I know some people are cringing right now because they have been programmed. So hearing me saying this, like, oh my God, how could Bolo say that? But it's the truth. It's the truth. Some people might like me a little bit less because I'm telling the truth, but it's the truth. It's the truth. When we're dealing, you see, use the household as an example. You don't treat one child better than the other child. You don't give one child more attention than the other. You try to balance it out. So when it comes to our society, in terms of especially governance, I'm just saying, like, can we have a balance in the approach for development? When you talk about youth, it should be youth. It shouldn't be, oh, let's focus primarily on the females alone, or let's focus on the boys alone. It should be together. It always needs to be a togetherness about it. Has to be balanced. Has to be balanced. Don't get me wrong. Situations arise where, you know, you need to focus, have small projects, temporary projects where you focus on a specific gender or whatever, but if it's happening to the females, trust me, it's happening to the males as well. If a male is getting abused sexually, young male, how much young male do you think is coming out to tell anybody about that? Men often suffer in silence, but nobody talks about the suffering of the males. Nobody talks about the suffering of the males. You know what they think males should do? Get over it, man. You're a man, man. You know much young men and women need like psychiatric help, like counseling. No, real counseling. Serious counseling. Suffering all types of trauma. Mentally. But you're not going to hear them come out and talk about no trauma. They're going to continue to suffer in silence. We have a lot of work to do in our society. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The same care that is given to the females and attention, the males need it too. I am advocating for both. I'm not going to separate the two. I'm not. Same resources needed for both. You understand? And them, you know, this thing, oh, the women do it better, and oh, the men do it better. Why? It's just petty. Petty and childish and unproductive. God never put us on the earth for that, you know. God put us on the earth to work together. That's where we're truly at our strongest peak. There's something that men bring to the table that women don't. And there's something that women bring to the table that men don't. It's just different. That's all. It's just different. We're just different. But that's what makes us a power couple. But this dude right here, man, mighty God, George Davis. Same name? No, not George Davis. George Wright.
And you can condone Robert Bell, a known labor right activist, for standing up in the nurse head and slam the woman to the ground and condone that type of abuse, but at the same time, you want to tell people say they must forgive George Wright for beat the woman with a stool? Jamaica, this is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, and we must reject the Jamaica Labour Party. Enough is enough. It may be long, but not too long now, Jamaica. It may be long.
106 days to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're counting down. 106 days to go. It don't matter if Andrew call it or not. They will be out of here. 106 days to go. September 3rd. It's all over.
But not too long now, Jamaica. Enough is enough, and we need to reject these people who are running the country under the banner of the Jamaica Labour Party. What a shame and disgrace.
My wisdom warriors, you know what me get from this? You see, Christopher Tufton come out and talk about who is we to judge. Since when them believe in a God? Let me ask you. Since when uno believe in a God? And that me ask uno.
Very good question out of the press. Very good question. Since when them believe in a God? No be a who behind them something for them party I deal with, brother. And lodge and them thing there. Since when them believe in a God? How would you got them at about?
Uno where every blouse and skirt time uno hitch up a lodge. The whole of uno we hitch up in a lodge. Uno come out here come talk about God. So that means it is okay for a man beat a woman. No wonder when you see Andrew Wallace big friend come beat up with nurse. We not have it. We not have it. So nobody feels that the man there, no. I go pay no money and get off of the case, you know. Nobody feels that Andrew Wallace big friend, Andy Bell, I go get off of the case. Because everything when we see that man do to the nurse, that is attempted murder. She couldn't die.
Yep.
Let me tell you that.
Yep.
She couldn't lose her life.
In a many
you
ways.
Hear me? She couldn't get a blow to her head and lose her life.
Yes.
And we not going to allow this.
Yes.
So nobody believes, say, true according to Uno, Judge Wright, say him come out and he make it right with God. That means that it is okay. So we the woman can just sit down and make the whole of the man them abuse the woman them. And because they make it right with God, we mustn't do anything. No sanky now go blows and skirts sing so. No sanky now go sing so. We not depend that.
Ryan,
we not depend that. Come on, know since when Uno
Ryan Sinclair say Bell is not a man. I agree.
Believe in a God, and every time, every Tuesday, Uno hitch up in a meal. Hey, my wisdom warriors, I don't want to talk the things them. Every Tuesday, they hitch up down a lodge. Uno think we don't know the business? We know the business very, very well. That's why enough of Uno can't turn up in a party.
But in talk them business, I remember say every woman done say that, you know. So remember Tuesday I have to go to lodge. So I won't be here Tuesday.
Parliament.
I'm sitting in a parliament.
That's why enough of Uno cannot turn up in a parliament because Uno don't a lodge. Uno can't trick with the Jamaican people. Uno can't come out and talk about God to we. Uno dirty politician. You stinking Christopher Tufton. We make a patient them a suffer like dog. You can't come out and tell we nothing about God, brother. Uno can't tell we nothing. Me don't know where you pick up yourself going down at Westmoreland for. Where you pick up yourself, they shouldn't dash dirty water upon you. They shouldn't dash the shit water upon you.
The E. coli water, yeah.
When you come out and a chat. Seriously. I say, and the little friggin' idiot them down there, you want to see how them a behave and a jump up. Like they don't have no raw sense. You don't say a fool the man take on far. Huh? Westmoreland people, you don't say a fool the man a take on far.
Alright, we have to go watch the rest of that for Art of 5%. Yeah, man. Shootout, Clarendon, Jazzy shot and killed by police. Nick Sellout, Ratty and Kiddy Lane, Rue and Breezy Saga. What is this? This is how the UTech girl captured and then unalived by the driver. She couldn't escape. Wow. Them people are rings out. Them people are rings out. The viewership on that story yesterday. Good girl, nice man. Look at the young lady, how she nice, man. My God. Wow. Tory Lanez, so you name Tory Lanez. New evidence confirms that Tory Lanez is innocent. You know, I never spoke on that story. Tory Lanez story, never spoke on it. Never did. Until a while ago. Beverly! What's up, Beverly? Lorraine, them a appeal. Listen, I heard, so what his name? Isaac Buchanan said they're appealing so they can slow down the rate at which they have to pay out for the lawsuits. Something to that effect. Like, once they appeal, it kind of will delay the payment thing, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what I heard. What? Rosalie buying what? I'm not even gonna. Some things we even listen to. Like, what? That's crazy. I leave that one to the police. Vice Cartel surprise, we ain't no under. Shout out to Dan BPOV. Wanna still no one calling? Whoa, whoa! Woman stabs officer in his face during an arrest. Damn! The hell? Man, Tory Lanez got 14 stabs in prison. Damn. 14. Jesus. Let me hear what's your name? Deion Jackson Miller have to say about this thing. I didn't listen to it yet.
Happened in the latest state merge Jamaica. Key takeaways. So much for joining me courtside. Time for tea. Number only had 3 states of 5 years after. Number 1, for 55 years after independence in 1962, Jamaica only had 3 states of public emergency. 1967, West Kingston, 1976, various parts of Jamaica, and 2010 in Gardens. But since 2018, up to the time of the court case, there had been 17.
Let that sink in. Bolo, have you heard anything from Lion Enos? When I hear not about the incident, so only 3 SOEs. Only 3. And since the court, since 2018, we have 17. No, sir. No. Then, all right. No, all right. So hold on. Make a reason. I'm going to talk to labor right them now. Labor right. In a 19, we don't even go further than this now. In a 1967, 1976, and 2010, that I did equivalent thing with Dodos. There's been 3 SOEs. 3. People still about from 2010 with Dodos thing. People still a ball from 2010 with the Dodos thing. The only thing is that SOE was warranted. You understand? So SOEs is nothing to play with. SOEs is a state of emergency is a very, very serious thing. Because of the type of power that it gives the police and soldiers and the government. You know, I think we can safely say that power is what this government is addicted to. Power them addicted to. They are drugged out on power, and that is why even after the Constitutional Court made their ruling, they are immediately going to appeal. And when it doesn't work with the appeal, they are probably want to take it to the Privy Council. But the PMP is willing to take it to the Privy Council because this cannot continue. 17 SOEs in between 2018 and now. And we only have 3 from 1967. Let me do maths. Let me do the math. 1967. Minus 2018 or 2010. 2018, yeah. 51 years. 51 years. In a 51-year span, we have had 3 SOEs. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. In 7 years. 3, 6 is 18. Wow. This man has had 5 times the amount of SOEs within a 7-year period. Seven years? If that is not abuse, I don't know what is. Yeah, man, me love maths, man. Maths, you see, numbers don't lie in a Merle. Numbers give you context. It shows you the gravity of the situation. So in a 51 years, there was 3 SOEs. And in a 7 years, there was 17. Almost 6 times the amount in a 7 years. That is abuse. That is clear abuse. Nobody don't need glasses to see that. Anybody who has support the SOEs, them on a dunce and wicked. If you don't want citizen. On a dunce and wicked, man. How you justify this? Joseph Shan, big up. $17 SOEs in a 7 year.
The time of the court case, there had been 17. 2. The courts have said consistently high rates of crime in Jamaica over a period of years can't be used as a justification to impose a state of public emergency. Now, the Oxford Dictionary says an emergency is a serious, unexpected, and potentially dangerous situation requiring immediate action. And the court said there's logic and good sense in the assertion that a state of affairs which persists over a period of years cannot properly be described as an emergency. So they said the states of public emergency that had been declared by the Governor General between January 2018 and February 2023 had not been declared for a purpose specified in the Constitution, so they were inconsistent with the Constitution and therefore void. Number 3. The court said its analysis of crime stats from the police showed that the emergency measures did not always achieve the objective of reducing crime. For example, the evidence of Deputy Commissioner of Police Blake is that while there was a 50% reduction in crime for January 2023, there was a 22% increase in murders in February 2023, and that's when there was a state of public emergency in effect in St. Anne. The court also quoted from statistics from St. James and West Kingston and concluded that contrary to DCP Blake's assertion that the states of public emergency reduced murders and shootings, the court says the stats don't bear that out. And the court said this is a clear indication that the measures did not always achieve a reduction in crime. Number 4. The court recognized that the ultimate aim of the government in imposing the states of public emergency was to curb crime, which the court said was and still is out of control. But the problem was how the government tried to achieve that. The court said, look, democratic rights may be restricted if we need to ensure public safety and public order. But whatever the government does has to be reasonable, it has to be demonstrably justified, it can't be arbitrary, unfair, or based on irrational circumstances. And the right should be impaired as little as possible, and the actions should be proportionate. Can't use a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito. Give you an example.
I like that analogy. Thank you so much for saying that. But you don't have the right to say that to me. You don't know me. But I like that analogy. I like that analogy. That analogy is good. Using a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito. That's like you taking a AK-47 to unalive a mosquito. Really? You're doing too much.
A state of public emergency imposed for the entire parish of St. Anne, although the police identified the problem areas as being in northeastern St. Anne. So the court said that parish-wide imposition of a state of public emergency was an unnecessary restriction on freedom of movement, the right to protection from search, the right to freedom of peaceful assembly, the right to liberty, and the right to due process.
Want to hear how much rights they violate? Restriction of freedom, right to protection from search. That means they didn't have to give a search warrant to come kick down your door and come in your house, right? Or look in your bag or not like that. The right to freedom of peaceful assembly, coming together peacefully, gathering. The right to liberty and the right to due process, meaning a court case. They could have just had you in prison without any explanation for however long, as long as them extend the SOE still in a pretty same way. Failure, failure, failure. All of which are adversely affected by the imposition of the SOEs. All of those are affected, yes.
Peaceful assembly, the right to liberty, and the right to due process. Number 5.
So think about that. Think about that. The Prime Minister of Jamaica and his government is fighting to, 1, restrict our freedoms of movement. But tell us that they did love the pandemic. 2, restrict or eliminate our right to privacy from search where our property, our person is concerned. 3, the right to freedom of peaceful assembly. They don't want us to come together, right? And right to liberty and due process. Those are the things they are appealing against. They don't want us to have those things. I just want the labor rights to know that. The government of Jamaica does not want us to have those things. Want to get it?
And the right to due process. Number 5. Rolling states of public emergency are unconstitutional and breach the constitutional principle of separation of powers. The government had imposed several so-called rolling states of public emergency. They would impose a state of emergency for 14 days, and when it expired, they would wait a few days and then impose another one in the same area. They were doing that because the government can declare a 14-day state of public emergency, but if they want to extend it, they have to go to Parliament and get opposition support. And the opposition had said, we're not supporting any more extensions. And the court said,
and at that, Andrew vexed both. Andrew want to eliminate the opposition being involved in balance of governance. Him and his government. They wish they could eliminate the government, the opposition from having these powers. But the Constitution demands it.
That these rolling states of public emergency was a method of circumventing the constitutional provisions and process. So what's the outcome of all of that? 14 states of public emergency that had been declared between 2018 and 2023 were found to be unconstitutional by the court and were held to be void. In other words, as if they never existed. Gonna have to leave it there. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Thanks.
Dion Jackson Miller put one emoji at the end of the face. Really? Yes, Dion. They are void. And as such, lawsuits will be pending. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, I've been on here an hour. Have I? I've been on more than an hour. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. See you guys later at 6 p.m., 7, sometime around then. PMP business. Alright, later. The word is love. I'm out.